You're watching It's Life Live with your hosts, Juan Lee and Oliver Marcel. Come join us for enriching, enlightening, encouraging, and thought-provoking conversation. Let's go.
Hey, what's up, Oliver?
I'm good, man. How are you? It's
Doing
Wednesday
great.
again. I feel like it was just Wednesday like yesterday.
Well, you're right about it. It comes real quick. Every 7 days, we back here. And it's
We
good
here.
because I want people to realize that we're here for them. So it's really good to be back. How's your week been?
Not too bad. Not too bad. I am this entrepreneurial journey is interesting, man. And I'm not gonna share too much because I don't want to derail the conversation because we got a guest and we want to get this guest in here. But you often find yourself looking at opportunities that you feel like will help to enhance or supplement or even augment what's happening right in your on your journey. And I'm walking through something like that. We'll talk about it one day, but I'm walking through something like that. So it's going to make
Okay.
the week an interesting week because I got to figure out how to now implement this thing that I have taken on. So
Uh-oh.
uh,
Uh-oh.
yeah.
Uh-oh. Well, you know what we call that? It's life.
Listen, we might call that a bad decision. No, I'm not going to speak that into existence. It's a good
Wow.
decision.
Come on now.
It's a good decision. Good decision. Good decision. We're gonna see what happens. We're gonna see how things play out. But yeah, good week, man. Every week, every day presents a different set of experiences. I used to use the word challenges. Every day presents a different set of experiences. And my wife and I were just having a conversation literally about an hour ago, just saying how our perspective has changed around how we embrace, navigate, and appreciate those experiences, all of them, even the ones that we might want to categorize as challenges.
Mm-hmm.
They're all experiences. And depending on how your perspective around how you navigate them determines how life goes for you. And it's kind of speaks to everything we've been talking about for all the weeks and months that we've been at this. So,
I think that's why I said when you said that and you mentioned that, I was like, hey, that's life. That's how
yep.
this thing works. That's how
Hmm.
it works. It comes to us and it's based on how we see it, a perspective at the moment,
Hmm.
because it's opportunity based on experience, based on perspective,
Right.
and how we navigate it, manage it is going to be how we come to it, how we view it.
Hmm.
So look, just in case we haven't got a chance to invite and introduce ourselves again, my name is Juan Lee. That's Oliver Marcel. Welcome to It's Life Live every Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. We are here sponsored by Clear Journey. And Clear Journey is a nonprofit that supports individuals that are looking for having life challenges, looking for answers in life challenges. And what we do is we have 8 areas of life that we talk about, and it's specific to, I mean, it's basically to every area of life. And what we've been talking about for the last few weeks is finances. That's one of the 8 areas. If you want to learn more about the other areas, and there's 7 others that we deal with, go over to clearjourney.org and you can find out a lot more about them. I want to welcome any of our guests that might have come from my meetup group, which was we put this up on our meetup group so that they could come on over here and join us also. So welcome. And if you're looking at us on Instagram, or you're looking at us on YouTube or LinkedIn, welcome. If you have not, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, or and give us some likes and hit that notification button so that you can help us help you by continuing us to being here for you. So that's what we want you to do, is to be a part of our community. And so we want really for you to help us do that. In addition to that, I just want to let you know that Clear Journey was founded based on a book that I wrote. And that book is called Love Made Simple. And it's called that because it gives you the attitudes for success. And that's the attitude that we like to minister and minister about, and not minister, but talk about here, as it relates to having the right attitudes to navigate all of those other areas, including your finances. So that's a book that if you want to pick it up, it's out on Audible. and you can pick it up and help us also. All of the funds go directly to Clear Journey and helping us. And it's also on Audible, and it's on Amazon. So with that being said, I want to tell you about our guest. Did I forget anything, Oliver, by the way?
Yep. We're good.
Everything is good. Everybody knows we welcome everybody, but we want to welcome our guest. And our guest again is back into the area of finances where we've been talking about for some time. And I'm just going to introduce him, read a little about him, and then we're going to bring him onto the stage. He is, in addition to his government service, where he spent 17 years experience in government, working in the financial area. His name is Dexter Brereton, and he is a CEO of DB1 Financial, a renowned firm specializing in providing comprehensive financial and accounting service to small businesses. He says, under his leadership, DB1 Financial drives innovation and maximizing profits for its customers, helping them navigate complex financial landscape with confidence. Moreover, DB1 Financial offers personalized budgeting and financial service tailored to individuals with the focus on debt elimination and achieving financial freedom. Dexter passion for empowering his clients to take control of their finances underscores his commitment to helping them achieve their long-term financial goals. With a proven track record to success both in the public sector and in the business, Dexter Brereton is dedicated to delivering exceptional financial expertise and guidance to his clients, ensuring their financial well-being and success. Here, I'd like to introduce to you Dexter Brereton.
Welcome. My applause don't work today, so I apologize in advance. Normally we bring our guests in with some applause, but this, tech does what tech wants to do when it wants to do it. So we just gonna clap it up for you, just like this. How about that?
Yeah, no problem, man.
Welcome for coming in and spending your evening with us tonight. Hey, let the people know what you want them to know and introduce yourself to them. I just read your bio, but you tell them who you are and what it is that your passion and how you like to present yourself.
All right. Well, once again, thank you guys for having me on. Appreciate the opportunity to come and share a little bit about what we do. But the way to introduce myself, I'm a regular guy. Nothing that special about me. I'm just a guy who likes numbers. Just a guy who just want to come and share my experiences and kind of, provide some information that could help other individuals, improve their life in any way, shape, or form. I've been an accountant for the last 20 something years, working with the feds, work around the area of auditing, finance, risk management. I've had this company since about 2018, but I've been working in finance before. And basically what we do is kind of like what you said. We do a lot of small accounting for small businesses, do some tax work, risk work. We help folks get an estate plan in place. One of the big areas of what we do is kind of work with individuals and their personal finances to kind of either get them out the mess that they're in or take them from wherever they are financially and get them to the goals that they have, whatever those goals are, whether it's a new car, a house, saving for the kids' college, retirement, getting out of debt, whatever the situation is. We meet folks where they are and we put certain things in place and we build upon a plan, and we take it from point A to point B. That's kind of what we do.
Let me ask you.
Sure.
Let me ask you, what is it that got you into the numbers game? That you really, I told you I had an experience what got me into the numbers game. What got you into the numbers game?
All right. So originally, accounting and finance was nowhere even close on my radar. That's never what I intended out to be. After I graduated high school, my goal was to actually be a pilot.
Hmm.
That's like my first love. I'm a aviation junkie, man. You can sit me by an airport and I'll be in my glee for 10 hours, just watching planes take off and land, right? So after high school, I went out to Oklahoma and I started like my flight training. But then 9/11 came and happened. And then the airline started like laying off pilots by like the hundreds, right? So I was like, well, damn, if I graduate with the aviation science degree and I can't get a job, it'd be pretty much, in my mind at that time, as like a 18, 19-year-old, I'm thinking about this kind of be worthless. So I came back to Maryland and I started doing computer engineering. But I didn't like it. So I really wasn't even sure exactly what my focus would be. And then I had one of my counselors told me, try accounting. And I was like, accounting? What? I don't want to be an accountant. Not a numbers guy. But he said, look, you know what? Try it. I think you have the brain for it. And if you like it, cool. If not, you can do something else. But since I was doing like a business degree, I had to take a lot of accounting courses regardless. So I was like, okay, I'll try it. And I've been in accounting ever since, man. That's kind of how it's been. So it started off as aviation, ended up in accounting, and numbers just make sense to me. It's kind of like how my brain works. I'm a logical person, so numbers it works. And I've been there ever since.
What do you like about it? What do you like about it? I mean, because you don't stay there if you don't like it, do you? What do you like about it?
Numbers are logical. They make sense. It's not a lot of emotion when it comes to numbers. It's 1 + 1 = 2. It's not about, well, I think it's 3, but I feel like it's 4, or I feel like it should be 7. Nah, 1 + 1 is 2. It's gonna always be 2. It's not gonna change. And that's kind of like how my brain works. Some people may be more creative in their thinking and abstract, and that's not how my brain works. I'm kind of a black and white guy. Black is black, white is white, and for me, numbers are like that.
And it serves you well in accounting though, and in finances though, because that's how you know that you know what you're going to get every time you implement what it is that you're doing.
Right. It's constant. You plug something in, you're gonna get something out. A + B = C. It never changes. I don't have to worry about on Monday 1 + 1 is 2, and then Tuesday 1 + 1 could be 7. Nah, it's always constant. So that's kind of how, like I said, kind of how my brain works. Kind of like how I got into it, and then just seeing like how numbers work. And then just making numbers work for people. And it kind of stuck. And then, seeing how folks can just, you don't have to be a math major to like make finance work for you, right? If you stick to the basics, keep it simple. You can do things. You can do a lot of good things. So just year after year, working with numbers, working with individuals, helping them in certain situations, just by simple addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, it's stuck.
Well, here's the thing, and I know, Oliver, you might have some, but I'm on a roll right now.
Go for it.
I'm like, how can people who don't have that mindset that you have, so to speak, really get into the numbers thing and really be able to let it work for them? Because you were saying that it's your mind works like that, but is it because your mind works like that makes it work, or is it because anybody's mind, everybody's, they work like numbers work like that? It's not as much as your mind as being different than anybody else's. Is like you have a propensity to it. I mean, you incline to it, but I mean, how can anybody, is this for anybody? Can anybody do this?
Yeah, I definitely
And I
believe
don't
anybody
mean, and I don't mean your job. I'm talking
Right,
about
right,
the
right, right, right,
I'm
right,
talking
right,
about
right.
the finances of it or the budgeting of it.
Yeah. I believe anybody can do it. I think different people would do it to various extents, various extent. But yeah, I believe anyone can get into it. They may not always like it or have the same passion for it as maybe I do or other people who are in accounting or finance or, I love Excel spreadsheets. That's like my thing, right? So you give me a good Excel spreadsheets and let's do it. Now, everyone may not feel like that, and that's fine. However, if you use an Excel spreadsheet or use a pencil and paper or you do whatever you need to do to try to control your finances and to get a debt or whatever, it'll work. You may not like it, you may not love it, but it's going to work for you.
That's good. I kind of want to I want to piggyback on the question on how you got into it, but I want to put a little spin on it. What were the gaps that you saw, or what were the challenges, the pain points that you saw in the way that people, either individually or small businesses, handle finances that caused you to steer your passion in that direction of helping small businesses and helping individuals to get out of debt and to reach their financial goals?
All right, I know the answer to this. I've told some of my clients this story before, but when I first started working for the federal government, I just got in. I wasn't making a lot of money. I wasn't making a lot of money at all. And I will remember sometimes, I hope I'm not throwing anybody in the bus, but I remember sometimes around 3:30, that's when everyone starts leaving. 3:30, everyone starts going home, right? So sometimes I used to stay until about 5 o'clock. And I remember I would be there in the office and I would hear like people on the phone with bill collectors, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're saying, well, I don't have it this week, but I get paid next week. And when I get paid, I'll send it the bill. I'm like, that's crazy. People on the phone in the office talking to bill collectors calling the phone. And some of these people I knew made a lot of money, six figure salaries. And it always confused me as to like, why is this person who probably makes close to like 140, 150,000, why are they on the phone in the office at 5 o'clock in the afternoon negotiating with bill collectors? Like that doesn't make any sense to me, because I'm looking at my paycheck and I'm just like, well, I'm making scraps and I'm like just getting by. And here's someone who's making 8 times the amount of money I'm making, but yet they're on the phone like, I ain't got it, right? So my thing was always like, that's crazy. I'll never be in that situation. If I made as much money as they made, there's no way I'll be in a situation. And as I continue working, I do good. I get raises, I get promotions, and I find myself saying some of the same things you hear a lot of people say. Well, if I just make an extra 10,000, I'll be good. If I just make an extra 15,000, I'll be good. And I would make the extra 10,000, and I wouldn't be good. Now I had to say to myself, well, if I make an extra 15,000, I'd be good. And then I found myself like making more money, but still in the same exact position I was when I first started working. I'm like, yo, this doesn't make like any sense. And then I'm thinking back to when I first started working and me telling myself, if I was to ever get in a situation like some of those other folks who was there, I'd never be in that situation if I made some of the money they make. But then I find myself climbing the salary ladder, but still being in the same situation. And that's kind of what made me started taking a look at like my spending habits and some of the things I was doing. I'm like, yo, what I'm doing doesn't make any sense, right? It doesn't make any sense at all. So that's when I had to kind of stop and reevaluate like a lot of the things I was doing. And I'm saying, well, okay, these individuals who I said I would never be like, I'm ending up in some of the same situations that they're in. So that must mean I'm doing some of the same things that they're doing. And yeah, that's when I had to take like a hard like evaluation of like money coming in, money going out, what I'm spending, credit cards, debt? Why do I have this expenses? And I said, nah, something's wrong. Something is absolutely, absolutely, positively wrong. But the crazy thing was, I'm giving people advice as to how to handle their finances.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm doing some of the things just like opposite to what I'm telling people. I'm just like, this doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make like any sense like whatsoever, right? So people looking at me like I'm some type of financial guru or whatever. And I'm giving them good advice, but I'm not paying attention to the same advice that I'm giving them. That's when I have to say, nah, something is wrong. This is crazy. It's crazy. It's stupid. And if I continue this path, I'm going to end up in like a horrible situation financially. So that's when I made the decision to go through my finances with like a fine tooth comb, and anything that wasn't absolutely necessary, it was gone on the chopping block. I used to go out a lot sometimes. And then, you go out easily, you spend 60, 70 bucks. You go out, you get some meat, you get some drinks, you get whatever. Easy, 60, 70 bucks. And you're going out every week. That's $240 a month right there, right? That's over almost $3,000 a year. And just going out one night a week and just blowing stupid money. So I said, nah, definitely got to make a change. So I cut back, I pretty much like stopped going out. Any unnecessary bill I had, cut it out. And I just said, well, look, you know what? I just have to get out of debt, like ASAP. So I pretty much like brought my life to like a pause. I stopped traveling, stopped going out, stopped buying stuff at Best Buy, got off of eBay. Any website that I had like my credit card saved, where I could just easily go on and just click and buy. Got rid of all of that. And I was like, nah, I think things just got to be different. I took a look at my credit card statement, and you looked at like the annual review, and you see how much money you paid in interest. And I'm just like, yo, this is absolutely crazy. So that was kind of like the catalyst for me as to why I decided to kind of just make a U-turn.
I love it. I love it. Out of some personal experience that came. So Juan, yeah. So what Dexter may not know about me is that I like to kind of, stir the pot a little bit. So I would like to step on some toes a little bit. We got a few folk watching. If you're watching, shout yourself out in the comments. You don't have to, but can we step on some toes for a little bit? You said
Sure.
that as you began to see, wait a minute, I am going down this same path that I said I would never go down. And you started to cut out. The word you used was unnecessary. Now, the pushback that I'm sure you get from people, and I'm sure this is pushback that happens, is that unnecessary is relative, right? So one person feels like the Netflix account is necessary, or the office lunch every day is necessary. Can we, if we were just coming to you, right? What is unnecessary? Like, what are some things that people should be cutting out? Because sometimes you ask people this question and they kind of dance around it because they don't necessarily want to hurt anybody's feelings, or I don't want to make you feel like, your Starbucks every day is unnecessary. But what are some things that if you had to be like, hey, this, and this gotta go, what would that be?
So it depends on the individual, right? And it depends on how drastic and how serious you are about getting out of debt and getting yourself in a better position financially, right? So, and that's going to be determined upon your value system. So you have to determine, okay, how important is this cappuccino with Starbucks to me every single day, right? Let's say you go to Starbucks at 5 days a week from work, right? You're spending $10 a day. That's $50 a week, right? 50 by 4, that's $200 a month. Right? $200 a month by 12 months, that's $2,400, right? So that's a couple vacations. That's a couple plane tickets. That's an emergency fund that you could have stocked up just by drinking a cappuccino, right? So, sometimes you hear people complain about, oh, they're tired, they're this, they're that, they need a break, they need a vacation. And I'm like, well, you drink your vacation every single morning, right? So how important is it to you, right? But if you came to me, I would take a look at your situation, and I'm going to try to cut every single thing that's not of the utmost importance or absolutely necessary, right? So I'm going to try to cut your Netflix. I'm going to try to cut your Starbucks. I'm going to try to cut your Hulu. If you have T-Mobile or Sprint, I'm going to try to cut that out too. Maybe get you to go on like Mint Mobile or one of these like prepaid lines. Because if you have like one of the things, and maybe people who are watching, I don't care. One of the things I see people come to me a lot is they have a cell phone, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have a cell phone that they're paying for, and they got a smartwatch. And then this stupid smartwatch is going to have its own data plan, right? So they're going to pay an extra $15, $20 a month just so they can read a text message off their phone, right?
Yep.
And then when you tell them, yo, you should get rid of that, you should cut it, they will come up with every single excuse as to why they believe they need the smartwatch. Oh, what if I leave my phone in the house? Oh, what if I do this and what I do that? I'm just like, yo, how old are you? Let's say they're 35. I'm like, for the last 30 out of your 35 years of your life, you didn't have a smartwatch. You got along just fine, right? Yeah, so I'm going to try to cut as much things as I can. But you also have to you also got to read the individual, right? And kind of like read them. This is the psychology behind it, right? Some folks we can take drastic measures with and it'll work, right? Because sometimes when folks come to you, they're at like your wit's end, right? They're like, yo, I'm broke, money coming in, money is gone, I got nothing. They're at like the rock bottom, right? So they'll do anything we tell them. We tell them, look, you cut everything except your lights, water, grocery, car insurance, they'll do it. If I try that drastic approach with other individuals, it may not work, right? It may push them away and they may think, well, okay, the change is too much too quickly, and they may just regress and fall back. So you got to kind of like read the individual to see where they're at, and cut major stuff. But sometimes you got to give a little. So the plan we may put in place may not be the best plan financially from just a standpoint of just the raw numbers. But if we let them keep Netflix, and that means they stay on task for the next 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 months, cool. That's a victory. We'll definitely take it. But you come to me, I'm gonna try to cut everything, like everything.
Yeah.
Gas, groceries, and your 4 walls. You don't need nothing else.
Man, bro. I appreciate that, because I am one of those people. Admittedly, I was kind of smiling while you were talking, because I am one of those people, admittedly, that I'm literally like a few days ago looking at my phone bill and I'm like, man, they getting us, man. They getting us with all these lines. Every device you get, it's not like how it used to be before. You can get these Wi-Fi devices and just tag them on. Every device you get now has to have its own line. And that's highway robbery. And so I'm looking at me personally, just a few days ago, I'm looking at my plan. I'm like, yo, only 4 of us talk on the phone. Why are all these? We got probably double the amount of lines of people that's on the phone. Like, no, we can't keep doing this. Like, that's why I was smiling when you said that, because I literally was having this conversation with myself the other day. Like, nah, we can't keep doing this. Like this, I'm just handing money, free money. Like, you just giving free money away. I might as well just take money out of my wallet and just walk in there and be like, hey, bro, you can have this. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, and a lot of times too, where people bleed out a lot is on like these small incremental charges, right? So you're giving T-Mobile extra $8 here. Another subscription is another $4 here, another $3 here, $7 here, $9 there, $12 there. And before you know it, you're probably paying like $100-something in just like these stupid incremental charges for stuff that you probably either can't remember, you forgot you even subscribed to it. You subscribe to it, but it's coming out on a credit card that you don't even think about. You're not reviewing like your credit card statement every single month.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like little bleeds, just in and out. Just, you're bleeding here, you're bleeding there, you're bleeding there. And before you know it, you got yourself in a financial quandary, right? So we try to get folks to go through like everything. We're going to review your bank statements, your credit card statements, just to see exactly what's coming out, what you're paying. Because before you can even like put a plan in place, you got to know, where am I bleeding, right? You got to stop the bleeding first. And then from there, we can start going. But yeah, we're going to try to cut everything. Anyone who knows me, it's not fun, but if you want to get to where you're going, sometimes that's exactly what you have to do.
Got to sacrifice. Got to have some discipline. Yeah.
How do you run across people who don't know that they don't know and push back? And they push back. I mean, Oliver said this a little earlier, but what do you say as it relates to the mindset? What kind of a mindset do people have to want to engage in this process? I mean, we talk about certain things in finances, and we talk about attitudes, and we talk about discipline, we talk about sacrifice, and we talk about responsibility. What have you experienced as it relates to what serves people well in your situation? What kind of a mindset do they need to be able to be successful with this budgeting and financial thing?
So you got to have a mindset of discipline. Without it, it's not going to work. I run across folks from across the spectrum, right? Where some folks think that, so it's interesting, right? So sometimes I start working with an individual, and again, sometimes because they're in the situation, they're in the financial quandary, they're in the financial mess, a lot of times they can't see like the bigger picture, right? Everything is just like tunnel vision and they can't see it. So when we start working with them and we tell them, hey, look, man, we thinking like 8 months, a year and a half, 6 months, whatever the case is, we can have, let's say 80% of your credit cards paid off. You can have about $5,000 worth of money saved up or whatnot. To them, that's crazy. They can't see it, right? But then when they work the plan and it happens, a lot of times they'll refer us, right? Oh, this got a great money guy, he's da-da-da-da. So then when we get new referrals and they come in, people think like we work magic, right? So, oh, my friend told me that you got out of debt and da-da-da-da. And then when we sit down now and say, okay, well, here's what we got to do. We got to cut this, we got to cut that, we got to shift this around. You got to do this, you got to do that. They get kind of like heartbroken because that's not what they were expecting. Maybe they thought that they would come and, yeah, it's this new program we can do, but we can do this, we can do that, and we can get you. No. You didn't get into this mess overnight, and it's not going to get out of this mess overnight. And what we're doing here is not like a temporary thing. It's a lifestyle, right? So get into a place financially where you're debt free, you're saving, you're investing, you're not rocked by every financial crisis that occurs. You don't get that way just on sheer luck, right? So you have to put a plan in place where every day you're making disciplined financial choices, right? Every day you're saying, okay, no, I'm not going to go and buy the 50 things that's in my Amazon cart. I'm going to take that money and put it in a CD instead. I'm going to put that money in like a mutual fund, right? So you get folks who get disappointed, honestly, because they thought you were going to come and sell them some amazing dream. And then you get folks who they come in, like I said, they're at rock bottom. And they're like, yo, whatever you tell me, I'll do. I love those folks, right? Because it's like they've hit rock bottom. They don't know where else to turn. And they're like, yo, if you can get me out of this mess, I'll do whatever And those are the folks who I love working with, right? Because they're really engaging, right? They're engaging. Before they make any kind of decision, they're calling us up. Hey, such and such call me. They want to offer me this. What do you think about that? Nope, you're not buying it. I got this in the mail. Nope, you're not buying it. Or I'm so like, I love working with those individuals, right? Because, and then they also take like a greater, they're more involved in the process, right? They're reviewing their bank statements just as much as I am, right? They're part of the reconciliation process. They're following through. They're getting on the phone and they're calling their bank. They're calling their credit card. Hey, look, man, we got to cut this or we got to take this out. And so I love those folks. So when folks come, I tell them you have to have a mindset of discipline, because that's the only way we're gonna move. We're gonna move forward. And I don't want to sound like the financial grim reaper, right? So I'm not trying to say that people shouldn't still live their lives and have some type of entertainment. So usually what we'll do is, as we achieve certain goals, we can add certain things like back in, right? So I may look at the situation and say, okay, now right now cash flow is like this person's biggest issue. So we got to cut all out. We got to cut all these things out, right? But once we get to this point where, okay, the credit cards are paid off or certain things are paid off, cool. Let's add back in like the Netflix, or if there was something that they really, really wanted to do, okay, we can add it back in, because it won't be as detrimental to them achieving their goals. As it was before. And we've had situations where, oh man, I know people's kids probably hate me. They probably hate me, right? Because we've had to pull some of my clients' kids out of some of their activities that the kids love, in dance and in certain after school activities. But had we not cut it, we couldn't stop the bleeding, right? So it's tough when you got to tell parents, you got to take your kid out of gymnastics, or you got to take your kid out of track and field, or you got to take your kid out of AAU basketball. Right now, you just don't have the money to be shelling out every single month when you got a credit card with 29%, like an $8,000 balance, right? So, yeah, I know kids probably hate me, but it's cool. It's cool.
I feel like though that's an opportunity for a parent now to involve their child in financial literacy. Yes. Like, hey, listen, I'm not doing this because I'm a jerk. I'm not doing this because I don't want to see you thrive and I don't want to see you have fun. Listen, let me show you some things. Here's, and it don't have to be the whole nitty gritty of everything, but I think that's I feel like personally, that's just me talking. I feel like that's a great opportunity for them to sit down with because here's the thing. Most of us, let me keep it a buck. Most of us that look like me did not experience those kinds of conversations. And as such, we make the decisions we do today. So that's a great opportunity for parents to be like, hey, listen, I love you. You know that I'm not doing this just because I am just, trying to be that dude. I'm not. There are some things that I want to teach you about things that are necessities and teach you about process, because this is not going to be forever. There's some things that we need to do now and tighten up now so that we can do some things later. Right? What would you prefer? Like whatever the conversation is, I feel like that's the opportunity. So yeah, they may hate you, but man, listen, folk who have parents, listen, take that as an opportunity to start to teach your kids something that they can then teach their kids. And we can turn some of this stuff around that we see as it relates to how we approach finances. It's a great opportunity.
I definitely agree. And that's one thing that I emphasize to parents. I stress over and over again that they really should be teaching their children financial literacy, financial discipline. I mean, appropriate to the age of the child. But right. You can start young with simple games, Monopoly, you give them chores. However you decide to implement it, that works best for your particular child. You have to know your child and how they operate. But yeah, we definitely stress that. And one of the things I tell parents as well is a lot of times I think we underestimate the intelligence of children, especially this day and age. Kids can start learning a skill from young, right? There's no reason why a 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old can't start learning how to be a plumber, how to be an electrician, how to be, some of these things, and even get into some type of entrepreneurial business before they graduate high school, right? There's no reason why children can't have something in place, making money, having their own business at a young age, right? So then college now becomes just an additional option if that's where the child wants to go, right? Not like we're waiting until the child graduates high school to try to figure out exactly, well, what do you want to do with your life? Or okay, no. There's no reason why your child can't already be making money, have a skill. Maybe they need to go to trade school to maybe polish it off, right? But in a lot of other cultures, yeah, kids from young have a trade along with their regular schooling and education. Yeah, they have some type of trade, some type of skill that they learn that they could put to use to provide for themselves and their family later on in life.
Yeah.
Let me piggyback back on one thing that Oliver was talking about as it relates to what came to mind when you all were talking there was the reason why budgeting is necessary. Because many times we don't have the ability to have the discipline necessary because we don't have a goal that drives us to want to be disciplined, to be able to do the work, to get us through whatever it takes to reach that goal. Is that something that you talk about with your clients as it relates to setting goals?
100%. So the goals that they set, the budget is just the implementation of their goals on a bi-weekly or twice a month or monthly basis, wherever they get paid. So if they come and say, look, Dex, we want to get out of debt. We want to pay off the credit cards. We want to pay off this car. We want to save an emergency fund. We want to buy a house or whatever. The budget is just the numerical expression of the goals that they're trying to achieve, right? And with that, then you also have to ask yourself, well, okay, what are the things that's going to prevent me from achieving my goal or slow me down from achieving my goal? And when we identify those things, those are some of the things that we start to cut, right? So budgeting is, oh my gosh, it's like so important. It's like so important, from personal finances to businesses, everything. You know what I'm saying? Like when you have a budget, you can have a little bit more peace of mind. You're not as reactionary when things happen, right? So you said, okay, I want to pay off my credit cards. I want to pay off this car. Okay. So in the budget, we're gonna implement those strategies, but we're also going to plan for stuff that, one, we know is coming, right? So a lot of times people do a budget for their monthly expenses, but then we have annual memberships. We have memberships that comes up in every 6 months. We have people who have professional licenses that they have to renew every 2 years. And a lot of times we kind of forget these things, right? And then when they show up, now it's like, oh crap, I gotta find $300 to renew this license, or I got to spend $135 that I didn't plan on to renew my registration. But you knew your registration was coming up every 2 years, right? So we'll break it down simple. So your registration is 2 years from now. Okay, it's 24 months. Take $135 divided by 24. That's how much money you just got to set aside in your savings every single paycheck. And it could be as simple as like $8, $9, right? But it adds up. So after you have that, at some point you got to get your car serviced. You're going to need new tires. We got to put money aside every paycheck, right? So when these things do happen, we're not caught unawares, and now we're like, crap, I don't have the money. I got to go swipe my credit card to go do things that we knew were coming. So all these things should be planned for. And then there's some things that we can't plan for. We could have never in our wildest dreams see that coming, right? So then that's what you got to have your emergency fund for. You got to just put money aside. So when things pop up, and they will pop up, there's there's always money sitting there for things that we couldn't predict, and there's money sitting there for things that we knew were going to happen, right? So you're always ahead of your financial situation. You should never be caught like unawares. And that's kind of how we map out the budget. Some of my clients, we plan for literally everything that we can think of. I mean, everything. And the budget is just a reflection of that.
I found that to be the most valuable component, and that is knowing what to budget for in setting your budget. Because I know, as you know, and especially as you grow and you go into different phases of your life, I know when I went from, we went from a townhouse to a single family home, budget had to change. Yeah. Because there was different responsibilities in a single family home that you didn't have in a townhouse. Oh, and that's how it goes from apartment to townhouse to a single family home that you don't know until you experience it. Right. And so you've got to begin to then take some type of precautions. And that's why that emergency fund, most people, when you're stacking that emergency fund there, you be like, man, that's like, I could spend that money. No, that money you stacking because you know something coming. Right. Something coming. But if you ain't got no experiences yet, after being in how, living in a home over 10, 15, 20 years, you've had some experiences. So you know why that doggone emergency fund there. And you've now, even there in some cases, started to change it, not from an emergency fund, but into a maintenance fund, because you know that that's coming. Things are gonna break. And these are the things that I found to be very helpful in my journey as it relates to budgeting, is knowing what to budget for. And because you can't, if you 21, you're 22 years old, you don't know the furnace is gonna break after, and you buy a house and the furnace gonna break, or right. You just don't know. And you buy the difference between buying a brand new home versus a resale. The roof you pass the inspection, but the next day the roof started leaking. These are the things that you can't plan for. And if you walk in there just thinking that I can pay the mortgage or the rent, you're going to be really mismanaging, going to be misunderstood or confused when something goes wrong that you just didn't have no idea about. So that's worth the advice that you just said. Is you said, look, I tell you about everything. I tell you about stuff that you ain't never even thought about. Yep. You need to consider. And that's valuable in and of itself, even to be able to start to put the process together. So that's a very needed component to what you're talking about.
Yeah, even things like, and it sounds crazy. And every new client that comes on board, I even ask them, especially if let's say they're single, they don't have kids. I'll ask them, do you want to have kids? Do you plan to have kids? And they say, yeah, okay. We're going to start planning for the kids. I'm saying, what you talking about? I don't have any kids. Yeah, we're going to start putting money aside for kids. And sometimes they look at me like I'm crazy, but like, now is the time to do that. Don't wait until the child gets here to try to start planning for it. That a lot of times that doesn't work. Now you're behind the 8 ball, right? So now you're trying to play catch up, right? So perfect example. Okay, if you're single, you don't have any kids, or you can be married without no kids, you can open up a 529 plan for your child, right? For your child that's not here yet. And you can start putting money aside in the 529 plan. You'll set yourself up as the account holder and the account beneficiary. And you can just start putting money aside. Whenever you get married or you have a child, then you just switch who the beneficiary is from yourself to your child, right? But you'd have already gotten a head start on saving for your kids' education, for college, and you get in most states, you get a tax deduction, right? So don't wait until you have children to start planning for children. Start ahead of time, right? If you're not married, you want to have a wedding or you want to do something, you start planning now. You start putting aside funds for some of these things. Now, everything in priority. If you have, tons of credit card debt, it doesn't make sense putting money aside for a wedding, right? Pay the debt off first, right? But once you get yourself in a situation where now you have a little bit more disposable income to different things, start planning for some of the future things that you want or you believe are going to happen. If you want another car in the future, start putting money aside for that car right now. Right? Don't wait until your car breaks down to then have to try to, okay, how am I going to find this car? Now you're at the mercy of the banks and you're at the mercy of the dealerships, right? That's how people get stuck with these stupid 72, 84, 90-month loans. Right? Yeah, you start putting that money aside from early. And I'm telling you, like, people think they don't have the money or like what I'm saying is crazy. But if you go through your finances and you start eliminating some of the things that are not necessary or not important to you, or that you're wasting money or you're buying stuff that you don't necessarily use, you'll be surprised how much disposable extra money you can find, right? So you go buy a car that you can't afford with a crazy high interest rate, you're paying $600-700 a month, all right? Or maybe if you were putting $250-300 a month aside for a couple of years, when it's time to buy that car, you can walk into the dealership and you can buy a car for $20,000, $22,000, $23,000 cash money, right? And it sounds crazy, but it's 100%. It's 100% doable. 100% doable. Stuff like travel, right? People love to travel. They take trips everywhere. And one of the main things they do is swipe the credit card. They go on a trip. They have a great time. Now you got to come back and pay all this interest, right? No, put money aside for travel every single paycheck. 150, 200, 250, whatever it is, 75. It adds up. So when that time comes, or sometimes you may see a trip, you're searching and you see a random trip, right? And it may be a month from now, 2 weeks. But you can go right away because the money's it's already there. It's sitting there. You go, you have a good time. And then when you come back, you don't have to worry about paying back the credit card, right? Yeah. So those are some of the things that we talk about. Like, always try to prepare for things that you know are going to come up in the future. One of the things I tell my clients all the time is, when did Noah build the ark? And that was before the flood, right? If you waited till the flood to come before you build the ark.
There you go. I love that analogy. That's a fantastic analogy. And I think what it speaks to is that we have to now begin to really check ourselves in terms of what our priorities are.
100%.
Because what the downfall that many of us have is that we are slaves to instant gratification.
100%.
So I want this today. I do not want to save 40 months for this down the road. I don't want to, let's be honest, right? I don't want last year's Jordans. I don't want to wait a year, because if I wait a year and save up, then it's going to be some new ones out in that year that I'm going to want too, right? And it might not be Jordans, but it might be whatever your thing is. And I think that's really, for many of us, the thing that we really have to get rid of before we even start getting rid of all the unnecessary monthlies, is getting rid of that attitude that says we got to have something now. You don't got to have it now. You just don't. You don't got to have it now, right? You don't have to have the new iPhone every year. You don't. The iPhone, the same iPhone you have today is going to ring the same way that the new one does. So just keep it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just stuff like that. Like, just, you just don't have to, right? So, and we have to now decide what's important to us. And what you cannot do, now here's the coach in me. Like, people who know me know that they'll hear me say this. What you cannot do is choose that you're going to ignore everything that Dexter said today and then complain. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because if Dexter's giving you all of these tools and all of this wisdom, and you turn around and you be like, well, I like my Starbucks. Okay, cool. Like your Starbucks, but don't complain that stuff ain't panning out for you. I know that sounds harsh, but it is what it is.
You just got to decide what's most important to you, right? A lot of people say, well, I want to be financially independent. I want to be this. I want to be that. Or you can say whatever you want. but your actions determine where you place your priorities and your value. Right. So cool. If you want to drink the Starbucks every morning, hey man, go ahead. But if when your child it's time to go to college and you don't have any money put aside and they got to go take out student loans, and now when they graduate from school, they're $140,000 in debt. That's your fault. It's your fault. You didn't do what you were supposed to, right? Don't complain when maybe somebody can give their child $50,000 towards a down payment on a house, and you're like, oh, well, why can't we do that? Well, you can. You just drank the $50,000. That's it. So if you wanna,
I like this guy.
Life, that's cool. But at some point, you got to take accountability for the choices. We are the sum of the choices. Now, there are some people who do encounter unfortunate circumstances that are outside their control, right? So I'm not trying to make it seem as if like people don't go through hardships, or sometimes we end up getting sick or a disease or cancer or some type of medical emergency that can set us back tremendously. 100%. I definitely agree with that, right? So I'm not trying to like paint everyone with a broad brush. However, the majority of us are in the situations we are currently due to piss poor financial choices, right? Whether it be through either lack of education or just lack of discipline. Most of us are in the current situations we are just due to poor choices, right? And for most people, there's no excuse. You got a brand new iPhone that you get every year. Every year the new iPhone 15, 16, 17 come out, you go get it, right? You have a ton of information, a wealth of information in the palm of your hand. You have more information that is accessible immediately than any point in history.
That's true.
There's no excuse.
You can learn how to let that phone make some money for you. Here's the other. I know we're coming down to the end of our time, but here's just to be fair, because I can be harsh, but I'm a fair guy as well. Here's the other side of that, right? It may not be that you don't have your priorities straight or that you are failing financially. It could just be that you don't know how to manage what you have, right? Because there's some people who they're doing well. They paying all their bills on time. They got a little bit of disposable income. They got some stuff, but they're not investing. They're not looking at ways that they can make that grow. They're not looking at opportunities that could allow them to leave legacy for their kids. Like, so there's the other side of that coin as well. So it's not just, hey, we're going to just hammer down on folks, because there's two sides to that coin. And I know you deal with that as well in terms of being able to educate and steer people in the direction of investments that they can make and ways that they can grow what they already have.
Yeah, 100%. The first investment I would tell people, the best way to invest in yourself, one, get out of debt. 100% get out of debt. You can't get to the point where you are if you're constantly digging yourself deeper in the grave, right? So, and then also, when you don't get out of debt, you lose. There's an opportunity cost. Everything has a cost, right? So it's like you're robbing your future self for tomorrow, some of the things you can provide for yourself for tomorrow because of the choices that you're making today, right? So that to me would be the first thing. I tell my clients, just cut your credit cards up, right? Just take a scissors and just cut your credit cards up. So I think that's the first investment you have to make. After you do that, build an emergency fund, right? You have to have an emergency fund. After you have an emergency fund, you try to save up about 6 to 9 months worth of savings for expenses, right? Because in today's climate, one day things can be good, the next day things can change in a heartbeat, right? A lot of folks were working, a lot of folks were doing good. COVID came, a lot of jobs went away just like that, and people were left pretty much nothing, right? So you got to have at least 6 to 9 months worth of savings. And then from there, you got to start like investing in your future. So if you have 401k at your job, you want to start maxing it out. If you can get a high deductible health insurance plan with an HSA, you want to start maxing that out. If you want to have kids, start putting money in a 529 plan, or they can look into like a UTMA account or UGMA account to start investing in their kids' future, right? Let the power of compound interest work for individuals. All right. Then from there, you want to start investing in like different mutual funds and stuff like that to kind of like, grow and set money aside for retirement. But I'm telling you, the more you stay out of debt, if you can stay out of debt, there's so much stuff that you can do. A lot of people want to start businesses and they may have a great idea and they're worried about, well, I can't get financing from a bank or whatnot. Well, the best way to do that, get out of debt and start putting aside capital so you can invest in yourself, invest in your own business to get your idea started and off the ground, right? But again, it comes back to knowing what you want, laying out the things that you want to do, and then making a plan for it, making a budget for it, and sticking to that plan, sticking to that budget. And don't let nothing, no one, or anything like deter you. You got to you just got to block out all the noise, right? Everyone's, hey, let's go here. We got this trip coming up. Let's go Miami. Let's go Jamaica. Let's go this. You got to be like, all right, not today, Satan. Nope. I got a plan. You got to be just like, kind of like diabolical with it. You just got to block out everything. Just focus on yourself to get to the point where you want to be. And I promise you, you're going to get there a lot sooner than you think. And all the things that you sacrifice in the short term, 6, 8, 9 months, a year, 2 years, you're going to be able to do those things tenfold, without the stress that you would have had you done them in a way that's not the best, financially. And not only that, you're buying back your time and you're buying back your peace of mind. That's one of the biggest things with being financially disciplined and financially literate is there's a lot more peace of mind that you have. You can navigate ups and downs and the bumps of the economy when stuff happens. When people are tripping in 2008, when people were losing their homes, there were a lot of people who benefited. You had a lot of investors who came in and swooped in and bought up a lot of property when market dropped. For them to have that money, they had to have some type of plan in place, putting money aside, putting capital aside. So when certain things happen, we hate to capitalize off of other people's misfortune, but it happens, right?
That's what it's about. There's a positive and a negative. There's somebody's paying interest, somebody getting some interest.
Exactly.
That's the way it works. Hey, Dexter, it has been a pleasure. We have run out of time, but before we go, we want people to know how they can get in touch with you. And if you have anything that you would like to tell people as it relates to what you would like to offer them, it's your floor.
Sure. You guys can definitely get in contact with me at our website, www.db1financial.com. You can go in there and request a consult. We usually do like free consultations. We'll take a look at your current financial position, and we'll run an analysis on it, and we'll tell you what we think we can do and what you can do for your finances.
Is that correct there? db1financial.com?
Yes.
Right.
Yes. We're easy to work with. We're real laid back, real cool. We'll put together a plan for you. And it'll definitely work. But one of the things that we do every year, we kind of do like our way of doing community service, right? And giving back to the community and helping folks out with financial literacy, because it is something that's like really, really lacking in our community. So aside from just webinars and stuff like this, what we're offering tonight is for the first 3 folks, we're going to give free. Not selling anything, no gotcha, 100% free budgeting and financial services, right? We're going to work with you for a year, free of charge,
Wow.
wherever you are in your financial state to get you where you want to be, whether that's debt elimination, investing more, getting money or capital to kind of get your business started. We'll work with you. So I think for the first 3 folks that reaches out to Claire Journey. Yeah, we will work with them free of charge. There's another, I'm sorry, not to cut you. There's a company I work with in partnership with this, easybudgetfinance.com. We're offering free financial budgeting, guidance and plan. And it's not just we tell you, hey, do this, do that. No, we're going to meet with you every time you get paid, and we're going to work the steps, work the process, work the numbers for a year. And that's kind of our way of giving back our like community service. So this, we're not going to try to sell you anything. We're not trying to reel you in and like, gotcha. Nah, free of charge. You ain't got to worry about nothing.
Wow, that's incredible.
That deal is for the first three that sends us an email to clearjourney.org, and in the subject line, put out of debt.
That's right.
In the subject line, put out of debt and send it to clearjourney.org, and we will forward that information to Dexter. And that, you heard him, he said a full year free service. And I want to thank you for that, Dexter.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And let's be clear. Let's be clear about something. Those of you who are watching this, hurry up and do that, because this doesn't apply to the host, but I will take one of those 3 spots. Like, let's be clear.
Yeah, it's for the first 3. So info@clearjourney.org, and just in the subject line say out of debt, and we'll know exactly where that goes. And I'll look at them and I will see which of the first 3 that came in, and I will forward those to you, Dexter, and you will be off and running. We really appreciate you offering that. That is really awesome. Hey guys, that has been an awesome experience tonight with Dexter. I don't know if anybody had any questions or anything, but we have access to a lot of resources here, and that's what we want to be here at Clear Journey. We want you to be able to come here for all of your needs in life. And this right here, finances, is critical. It will transcend all of your life's challenges. It will go through every one of your life challenges, because your finances will be the thing that will meet your ambitions, your goals, your dreams. It's to be able to manage. And he talked about everything that we stand for. Dexter talked about tonight. He talked about discipline. He talked about responsibility. He talks about preparation. He talks about sacrifice. These are the things that we talk about here, the attitudes that are necessary to really magnify your dreams. Make sure that your dreams become a reality. It's in your hands, guys. It's up to you. You have the power. It doesn't matter how much somebody else makes. Doesn't matter you can be financially secure exactly where you are. You don't have to have more. You don't have to have another 10K. You don't have to have another 20K. So as Dexter was talking about, he said, I thought I was going to get there when I got that extra 10K. No, because the same mindset that didn't have that 10K is the same mindset that was there with that extra 10K. So that meant that it was almost useless to have that 10K because nothing changed. And that's what he's talking about, guys. So you don't need the other 10K. You can start putting and implementing those things right now. So when that extra 10K come, you're just going to propel you that much further, that much quicker. So he laid out some gems for you, and we really appreciate you, Dexter, for coming out and sharing that with us tonight. And I'm looking forward for our tribe, our guys, our listeners, to really reaching out and being a part of and learning more of what you have to offer. Anything else you'd like to say before we close it down?
I just thank you guys for providing the opportunity for me to come on your platform and just talk to folks. I just think this is like one of those things that we just need to get out, man. We need to push more, especially now as, things are getting harder. A lot of people are complaining about the increase in prices and everything, rent, food, cars, like everything's getting more expensive, man. So, this is definitely something that we need to push in our communities and help the ones who are coming behind us, right? So that they're not in the same position we were. One of the things, after this, I'm done. One of the best things I've always read is that a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children.
Yes, sir.
So not just I want to do good for my kids. No, I want to leave an inheritance for my kids and my grandkids, right? So yeah, man, and it can be done. Even in today's crazy world with all the increased prices, it can be done, but only through sacrifice, discipline, budgeting, and financial literacy. So Thank you guys once again, and I hope everyone found this to be beneficial.
Hey, we're gonna let you go, but we want you to stay. Don't leave, okay? We're gonna put you in the back in the room, in the green room for a second, but don't leave. We wanna talk to you again. All right.
All right, no problem.
All right, then. Appreciate it again. Thanks a lot,
Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
Oliver.
Everybody needs a Dexter, including
Yes.
including Oliver Marcel. Can we be clear
Hey.
about that? Like, I need a Dexter. So
Did you put
that's
in? Did you just send your info at
listen.
clearjourney.com?
I'm giving the folk that are watching. I'm giving you 24 hours. And if you don't get, I'm gonna check in with you on. If you don't have 3 in 24 hours, I'm taking the third. I'm taking one of those spots. I'm telling you. I'm
I hear
taking
you.
one.
I hear you. Please. I think that was unexpected. He and I had talked about that offer that he wanted to do, and I was like, "You want to do that?" He says, "That's what I'm about." That's what I'm about.
I
He
love
says,
it,
"That's what
man.
I'm
Like
about."
that's
And I was like, "Hey, you got it." And I think they would really appreciate it. I mean, you can tell that Dexter is really passionate about what he wants to do. I mean, he is talking everything that Clear Journey is about.
mhm.
And this is what finance is very important. And so by all means, people, guys, girls, guys, women, everybody who's listening, um, we need this not only for ourselves but for the next generation. I mean, we talk about this so many times when we talk about, this is our time. Yeah, this is our time to make a difference. And it starts with a little bit of a discipline, sacrifice, and it's our responsibility to the next generation.
Yeah.
So, Oliver, let people know how people can catch up with you, because you're a part of what we do, and you're a vital part in your field too, and that's relationships.
Indeed. Author, speaker, and coach in the relationship building and men's enrichment spaces. It is my passion to see relationships thrive, both personally and professionally. Author of the book, Overcoming the Man Laws, for the man who wants to be his best despite what he was taught. So if you're a social media person, right there is the social media handle. Everywhere on social media, you'll find us there. Or if you're an email person, you can email me at the email on the screen. What I want to see is you build and maintain the relationship of your dreams. So let's connect.
All righty. Oliver is one of our strategic partners, so by all means, reach out to him. And by reaching out to him, you will support us also, because he's a part of us. Hey, I have one other gift that I want to give also, and that's something that we've been giving out for the past few couple of weeks, but we want to put it out here, and we're going to do the same thing here that we did with Dexter's thing. But instead of putting in Dexter's Get Out of Debt, um, I have a book. Oliver, can you put that up? It's the guide to it's budgeting made easier, and it's the guide to taking charge of your money, free. All you have to do is send an email saying, I want your free book, your ebook, because this is the ebook. Just go to Clear Journey, send the email to clearjourney.org. In the subject, just say, I want your ebook, and we will send you the ebook. All right. This is all about what we're talking about this time, this today. It's a very simple, easy process. We lay out you some easy to follow steps. And it's just being able to be aware of the things that are necessary. And we want to give that away free. Just say, I want an ebook. All righty. That's what we're here to do. And if you want to reach me, you can also reach me at info@clearjourney.org. I'm also the author of Love Made Simple, The Guide to Inner Peace, Contentment, and Success. You can get that on Amazon and in Audible. If you get the Audible, you might hear another voice besides, or a voice that you've heard before. I won't drop that. I won't tell you what that is, but you've heard the voice before. And so by all means, all of these things help support us, and Clear Journey, so that we can keep this going. But again, this has been great, and I'm glad for you all that were here to enjoy this with us. But as always, we can't change life, but we can help you navigate it. And until next time, we'll see you then.
Later.